Hey everyone, my name is Monsel, and today I'm gonna share 7 must-have tools that I keep in my truck at all times. The first 6 are gonna be practical tools, and number 7 is gonna be a surprising added bonus. Now, for those who don't know, I facilitate 20 to 25 hunting experiences a year in an organization called Sacred Hunting, and I am always hunting throughout the year. So I have accumulated these 7 specific tools that I have in my truck, and they're gonna be beneficial for you whether you are a hunter or just an outdoorsman or even just someone who goes into rural areas on a regular basis. Number 1, latex gloves. I use latex gloves frequently when I am moving roadkill, which I suggest everyone do simply for the betterment of the planet. I also use latex gloves when I'm gutting animals, especially wild hogs. These can be incredibly useful no matter what the situation is with animals in rural areas. Now, number 2 is a Havalon surgical blade. I specifically like these replaceable surgical blades because they are some of the sharpest that you're gonna find, which is really effective for gutting, skinning, quartering any kind of animal that's out in the field. Now, I'll do that when I'm hunting, but also for those of you who don't hunt, if you want to use it on roadkill in order to take meat home if you hit an animal, this is a great thing to have with you at all times. Super sharp blade. Nobody likes a dull blade. Number 3, breathable bags, game bags in particular. So these are tag bags specifically to put meat into the bags and still allow it to breathe without allowing animals or bugs in particular to get on the meat. The reason why I love these is because I can either hunt an animal or roadkill, I can put into this bag. So having this with me at all times is super beneficial. These bags can be reusable, so I can just throw them in the washer even if they're covered in blood. And if you don't want to buy game bags, go ahead and use a pillowcase. That's a great alternative that allows you to have a breathable bag you can wash without bugs getting on it. Number 4 is a cooler of some sort. Now, the reason I have a cooler in my truck is because I primarily use it for hunting. I put it in the bed and I leave it in the bed at all times. Putting meat in the cooler is going to be significantly cooler than if it were just in the bed of the truck, especially in Texas. Now, if you don't have the luxury of keeping a large cooler in the bed of your truck, just try and keep at least a small one, because you can put some meat in there or you can put organs in there and preserve it at all times. Now, obviously, these tools are specifically for the purposes of getting meat and hunting, but even if you're not a hunter, having a small cooler is going to be beneficial for you if you somehow stumble across the meat. Number 5 is a sawzall. And a sawzall is an electric saw, and you can use this for breaking carcasses down much easier. I have this in order to take a deer carcass and maybe remove the ribs or remove the spine, and this makes the process go so much easier whether I'm hunting or breaking down roadkill. An important thing to note about a sawzall is it cuts through bone. It doesn't cut through flesh so well. So use that Havalon blade that I mentioned earlier to cut through a lot of the soft tissue, then use that sawzall just to cut through the bone. And make sure you wash the sawzall, because if you don't, you're gonna have bone fragments and nasty pieces of meat all in the inside of your saw, and nobody wants that. So number 6 is some type of disinfecting wipes or hand sanitizer. Now, the reason I have this and latex gloves is because personally I try to create as little amount of trash as possible. So if I can go without using a latex glove, great, I'm gonna do that. If I can go without creating extra trash from wet wipes, great, I'm gonna do that. So this organic hand sanitizer from Dr. Bronner's is what I have in my truck. It allows me to feel a little bit cleaner in certain circumstances, but not necessarily create a bunch of trash. Just as a caveat, We live in a very sanitized society, and it's not exactly great for us. One of the reasons that I find myself to be healthy, my gut to be healthy, is because I'm constantly touching things in nature and getting different bacterias into my system, whether that's from animals or whether that's from plants, rocks, whatever the case is. So even though I have hand sanitizer, don't overuse it. Number 7, the surprising, somewhat less practical thing that I have with me at all times is tobacco. Now, for those who have watched some of my other videos, I treat hunting as a spiritual practice. One of the ways that I use tobacco is as an offering, as a prayer, as a moment of gratitude that I have with the earth, thanking the earth for giving me an animal, whether it be roadkill or whether it be hunted animal, simply taking the time to acknowledge that this was a gift and it will feed me and it will nourish me. And the reason for this is because indigenous tribes of North America and South America all used tobacco as a sacred plant. Many of them used it as a mode of exchange. Some used it as a way of having ceremonies like pipe ceremonies. But tobacco is such a special representation to the people here on this land. And so I bring that with me to give some intentionality. And I suggest that you do the same. Whatever type of tobacco you can find, use it almost as a gateway to your own appreciation, your own gratitude, your own self-reflection and intentionality. Thank you guys for watching. I hope some of these have been valuable. If you did appreciate this video, go ahead, like this, subscribe to the channel. I'm releasing content every single week. And also, if you want to learn a little bit more about hunting, you want to engage with some of the spiritual practices with tobacco and other substances that I've talked about, go ahead and visit sacredhunting.com. You'll see all the experiences that I facilitate, and I would love to see you there. Ooh, look at this. This is a crawdad claw, probably a raccoon opened it up.